Well, I might have to ask the rest of you guys to leave because it looks like Ethan wants to come in and debate and fight.
Oh.
What's up, Ethan? How's it going?
I don't know. I'm I'm in the mood now.
What's up?
Phillies threw it away because of their stupid relief pitching.
Oh,
Fucking! I mean, I've never seen anything like it in my life. Disgraceful. All right, I'm here. I saw you had a video and it was so fucking gay. It was like, Comicsgate can never be Marvel Comics, and it had a nice fucking thumbnail with my comic book with a Ghostbusters X right through it.
Right through it.
And first, I just want to say, fuck you, Tony. You read it and you liked it, you disingenuous piece of shit. Don't put that up as your thumbnail. Now, on to your points. What are you talking about?
All right, first off, Ethan, thank you for showing up.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Secondly, why are you going over to Matt Jarbo's channel and saying I don't like you?
Huh? I didn't say that, did I?
You did. You said I was over on Tony's channel. I don't think he likes me very much.
I don't. Oh, maybe because of this.
No, this was before this. This was like 2 days ago.
I have no memory of that. You'd have to pull it up, and you would have to remind me of that. I don't know.
Because then Matt goes, don't worry. I don't think Tony likes anybody.
Well, pull it up. Let me see what I said and what context it was in. I don't recall saying that. I was I decided, Matt, here's the thing. I think Matt Jarbo wanted me to come on and badmouth Eric July, and I disappointed him greatly because I only did that here on this channel twice. Matt Jarbo wanted a piece of that action. I didn't give it to him. And I think it bummed him out. We had a very serious, sobering discussion.
All right, so here's the clip.
Comics to your friends, not to
you're
mine.
giving us exclusive content, is what you're saying.
I think so. Yeah. All right, go ahead. I sent them to Robert Willing because I don't think he likes me very much. I sent them to Tony, who's got the Frog Show.
Yeah,
I don't think Tony likes me very much.
I don't think Tony likes anybody very much.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, in other words, you're not a big fan. That's all. In the same way that Robert Willing is not a big fan of me personally. You might like my work, but it's not like you tune into my show, I assume. What I meant is you're an outsider voice. I didn't mean you had anything personally against me. I don't know if you do or don't.
I don't. Not at all. Actually, I think you're a pretty intelligent guy. I think you're smart, articulate. So I have nothing against you.
I think you're Tony's favorite guest.
I can see why. Every time I come in here, he does a clip of it and puts it out there like Ethan Van Sciver slams Eric July. And I didn't do anything like that. It's fucking crazy.
I did. Because it gets clicks. Ethan destroyed Eric. Rippaverse in shambles. Everyone's like, what? It's just Ethan being all nice. It's like, yeah, I hope Eric makes a lot of money. I'm like,
do you think Eric has seen any of those videos?
I think clickbait is shameful. It's absolutely terrible. Nobody should clickbait anything.
No, but I'm not disingenuous.
Well, you are, because you put as a thumbnail, you put a Ghostbuster symbol with the little slash, the cross out over my beautiful comic book, which you enjoyed. There is no reason to do that unless you're being disingenuous because you liked it.
I do. I love it. I told you, Cyberfrog is great.
Right.
But
exactly.
What is this? Let me see the video. It is over. It wasn't even my thumbnail. So here's the thing, Ethan. That thumbnail is not mine. I stole that. So I was like, oh shit, I got to change it. That's why it actually says, it says what makes Comicsgate different and why it will win. And then I just put lose over the win. And then I put the big X. So I had to change it or else they would have.
1 single minute about my precious fragile feelings at all.
I did not.
All right. Well, there you go. That was your first mistake.
Well,
I subscribe. I see that up in my timeline. I'm like, oh no, what is this?
It was actually just a clip out of a stream we did where in a stream of consciousness, we're just talking about comics. We were actually talking about something else. Somehow we got to Comicsgate and I just kind of gave like my thoughts and feelings on it and I just clipped it out. But really, it's not a debate because I'm going to admit I don't know as much about Comicsgate as I should. I was saying things like, it would be nice if there was like a website I can go to and see all the comics and when they came out and how many issues there are and, things like that and who's involved in Comicsgate. And again, because you have Comicsgate, the brand, and then Comicsgate, like the Loose Alliance and the trademark, and then there's always like this guy's in Comicsgate, but now he's not. But then there's this and that and the other thing. It's really confusing to me. Like, what is Comicsgate? And you're the leader, I guess, I assume. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth.
Yeah, I'm not the leader of Comicsgate, I don't think. I mean, I was not elected. You can go to amphibionics.com. You can go to Sciver.
But you literally own the trademark.
Sure, yeah, I know. It's an unfortunate situation where I have to own the trademark. I don't have a choice, really.
And it seems like people online assume that you're the spokesperson for Comicsgate. That's the thing.
Well, it's because he is. He's being modest.
Well, I'm not. I mean, it's like when you say that, like it's like, well, nobody has declared me the leader or the spokesperson of anything. However, I do find myself in a position where I, get invited to places and speak for Comicsgate. So, I mean, like when I went on,
just be the most charismatic person in Comicsgate.
Well, I mean, listen, you haven't watched a John Malin live stream because that guy.
I watched his stream when you were on there, and he was nothing. It was all you.
What? Oh, well, I don't know. Anyway, there are a lot of comic skaters. I'm probably the loudest and the stupidest, maybe the most entertaining. So maybe that's a thing. But yeah, I own the trademark. I have the trademark because I was the first to use it in commerce, and a fellow named Preston Poulter decided, even though he knew he had no claim to it at all, decided that he was going to file for it with the USPTO, and then declare that, as the new owner of Comicsgate, which he wasn't granted it. At no point was he ever granted, by the USPTO, the trademark. He was going to put out a bunch of comic books that were called Comicsgate, and many of them would be what's going on? Why are you kicking people out?
I didn't want you to feel overwhelmed.
I don't feel they're just Tony. What? All right. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah. So this guy was going to put the Comicsgate brand on his own comics and some comics that were embarrassing, including depictions of girls who were declared to be 17 years old, but who looked much younger, in my opinion, engaged in sex. And he was going to call them Comicsgate comics, and we didn't want that. So anyway, we're going to court over that. I did claim the trademark. It is mine. But I hold it in trust. Anybody who wants to use it to make money, I will freely license it to them, so long as they are Comicsgate. It's like Mark Waid, I will say no to. But anybody else, even somebody who I'm having personal difficulties with, that I know is Comicsgate, will be allowed to make a hat, T-shirt, whatever they want to do.
Well, that's fantastic. So Comicsgate, like I said, is a trademark. It's also would you call it a movement or a loose alliance of people?
Yeah, it's all those things. It's like it's a movement, it's a club, it's a group of friends, it's many groups of friends. It's an idea. It's a customer service movement. It's an alliance of creators who are trying to make their comics without interference. It's all those things. Yeah.
And I think where maybe the discrepancy or the debate between us would be was, what is it that Comicsgate's trying to achieve, right? What is the goal of Comicsgate? Because we know like Eric's going to moonwalk over the graves of the writers of Marvel and DC. The fans will constantly tell you Comicsgate is going to supplement the mainstream. They're going to be the new mainstream.
Yeah.
So,
right.
In your opinion,
mm-hmm.
what is the goal of Comicsgate? The ultimate goal?
Well, I mean, everybody has their own goals. My goal is just to be able to make my own comics. That's all. I mean, that's all I want to do. Everybody's goal in general is to be able to make their own comics free from interference, to be able to say whatever they want. It's creative freedom. Some people within Comicsgate may have ambitions to rule the mainstream. That's up to them. I mean, it's not Comicsgate's goal at all. It's like we're not trying to replace the mainstream. I think it would be bad if we did. There needs to be a mainstream. There needs to be an independent movement. All these things need to work together. We need more comics. But I mean, in general, what is my goal? My goal is complete and total creative freedom for anybody who joins us. Do whatever you want to do. We'll help you promote your comics. Somebody within the movement is going to help you to network and maybe get your books funded. That kind of a thing.
So if that's your goal, right? Yeah. What if DC or Marvel came to you with a dump truck full of money and said, Ethan, we need you back. Here's a dump truck full of money. You're going to have full creative control. We're going to bring Cyberfrog into the Marvel or DC brand.
I'm sorry. I mean, what is a dump truck full of money? What I mean? It's like I have an autistic daughter. I don't like making these, gigantic, pronouncements like, no, there's no possible way. You send $50 million my way, and I'm thinking about my daughter's future, and I'm going to make probably a move. But listen, no, for the most part, things being what they are and reality being what it is, no, I'm staying right here. I'm not interested in working for DC Comics. I'm interested in doing my own thing.
Amoro wants to know who runs the Comicsgate.org site.
It's not Robert Romano. Who runs it? I can't. Can't remember right now. I'll have to look into that. I think it might be Chris Brawley from Bleeding Fool runs that site, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure.
So, like I said, I think the misunderstanding is I was under the impression that you guys were attempting to create a big three out of the big two. Comicsgate was going to be the next big brand. You're going to have several comics under it, several writers, several books. Not necessarily all in the same universe, but all under the same label, as it were, right?
Well, yeah, there actually is a Comicsgate label because I have the trademark, so I'm actually putting it on comics because it's my obligation to do so. I have a label called Comicsgate Arena, in which I'm going to publish things that I think are good, that are just, there's no censorship. You can use the N-word if you want to in there. You can show explicit nudity and sex. There will be, under Comicsgate Arena, there will be complete and total creative freedom, no censorship. And I think something like that should exist. Within All Caps Comics, I am very censorious. I mean, I want my books to be able to be okay for kids. But for this other label, no censorship, which is, I think, ultimately like the good thing about Comicsgate is you can do whatever you want to do. But no, I don't think anybody, Tony. I've heard Eric July say he wants to compete with Marvel. I don't see how you do that. I think that's an unrealistic goal. To want to compete with a Disney-owned 70-year-old, comic book franchise with beloved IPs that your grandfather grew up with. I just don't think that's something that's realistic. Ultimately, what my personal goal is to make my own comics and then hopefully have Cyberfrog or Rainbow the Brute or Lynx or Fearsome or any one of my several properties that I'm publishing. Not just one. It's not just one. Become a video game, become a movie, a TV show, and actually affect the culture as one person can do. Because, right now, in my opinion, the media has pretty much been subverted by people with left-wing goals and a lot of activists. And there are reasons why that's happening. There's reasons why there's corporate cooperation in those efforts. I've come to understand those things. I don't think we can change that, not as individuals. But if everybody gets together and everybody, out of everybody that we pull together into this indie sphere, 3 or 4 projects end up becoming something. out there that the mainstream sees and recognizes eventually, I think that's great. I don't know if it's even going to happen in my lifetime. I don't really expect it to. I'd be surprised if it did. But I'm going to tell enough Cyberfrog stories so that my children inherit the IP, and maybe at that point it becomes a movie or a TV show, and what I wanted to say gets out there and is heard by other people. Other people are entertained by it. That's the goal.
That's a noble goal. And like I don't know if you watched the whole video or if you got disgusted because I'm an idiot who rambles, but one of the things I said was, there are a lot of indies, and I've had some indie developers or indie comic writers and illustrators come on the show, and they have small campaigns, right? $3,000, $5,000, and they're pumping books out, on the regular. How is it that they're able to do this? Quality, it's not like shit books, quality books, not your quality, obviously. But still, I would say like yours is a 9 and theirs is a 7, right? Which I think is acceptable as a quality product. You
want to give me an example of somebody who's like pumping stuff out that's a 7 compared to my 9?
Let me see. Sonopa Publishing, they've pumped out. And when I say pump out, I don't mean like weekly, but
Okay, I don't know them. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they were on here. And they even said it. Hey, they got their books in cannabis shops and they're selling books that way.
Yeah, sure. It's not hard. I mean, the idea of putting comic books in shops, I think we need to disabuse some comic skaters of the notion that that's a difficult thing to do. It isn't. First of all, we're friends with Diamond. I'm close friends with the family that runs Diamond. At some point, if I want to, and they've offered, I will contact them and I will set up a Diamond account, and then we will put all caps comics through Diamond and into assorted comic book shops all over the place. The reason why I don't do that right now is because it's an awful lot of work for almost no money. Most of the people who are doing that are suffering. They don't make the kind of money that I do, the way that I do comics. I do 1 or 2 a year, 1 or 2 projects per year. I self-distribute them and, make 7 figures. I don't think there's anybody like me who, and so therefore, like people saying, well, you should do it this way. You should be in comic shops. Well, I mean, look, going through direct market distribution has its advantage, and its advantage is you're going to reach more casual, perhaps, readers, which is important. And I do want that. What I don't want is I don't want to give away 2/3 of my profit, which is what you have to do. I mean, you're paying you're giving an enormous discount to the comic book store on the cover price, and you're paying the distributor as well.
Yeah,
it's too much of a loss.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. It's just I've been doing this for 30 years now. I did that for the first 25. I don't think I'm going to be doing that too much. Not now. Not when I'm almost 50. I'd rather just do it this way and keep all the money.
Someone had suggested in the comment section of that video that why don't Comicsgate, you got a warehouse, or like even Eric July got a warehouse. Why don't you guys become the distributor for Comicsgate, right? Using your warehouse.
Yeah, my warehouse is just a big storage facility. It's not a distribution plant. I mean, I have 2 warehouses, and one of them is an office with a small warehouse garage. The other one is an enormous warehouse space. It's a storage facility. I don't have dozens and dozens of people packing and shipping. I have 3. I got 3 young men who are about 24, 25 years old who come in every single day. And I give them I say, look, 250 packages have to go out from this campaign today. I need to see those packed up and shipped out. And then this over here needs to be done in this. And that's what they do. And by the way, they can barely do that, Tony. It's like, I'm not distributing. Fulfillment is a bear. It's a real big task. Yeah, I'm not interested in fulfilling anyone else's stuff. That's kind of their problem.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like I said, because the misunderstanding is that Comicsgate was going to be a bigger thing. It wasn't like, you're doing your thing, he's doing his thing, and you guys are just friends.
What would you
everyone
like it
has
to
this,
be?
Like I said, everyone has this idea where it's going to be the next Marvel, the next DC. It's going to be a big company with lots of books coming out on the
Well,
regular.
I mean, yeah, maybe All Caps Comics would become a big company, but Comicsgate isn't a company. I mean, that's kind of the misnomer of this whole thing is that when you say Comicsgate is a company or it could be a company, a big company, small company, it's not. It's just an alliance. It's a friendly alliance of people who are sick of SJWs who want to make comics. That's pretty much what it is, and those are fans and those are creators. But there's no it's not Image. You're tempted to think of it as like Image Comics,
Yeah.
and it's nothing like that. Within Comicsgate is 50 little tiny independent publishers, and there's no way for them all to combine. We just wouldn't do it. And even if there was a way, nobody really wants that because, again, it's all about independence and freedom. So the way Shane Davis runs his business is different from the way I run my business. And I don't want to work with him. It's like we don't want to combine our businesses. He's going to do things his way. I'm going to do things my way. But we're friends. And when he has a project, I tell everybody about his project and vice versa.
All right, let me get to these couple super chats. Jude says, "Hold up! If Eric July believes single mom, no, that's wrong one. Never mind. Never trust a business that masquerades as a social movement, vice versa, because you end up getting the worst of both worlds." And Control Alt Delete wants to know: do you have snipers on your roof?
Yes, we're waiting for Riley to come back. Yeah, red alert.
So. Comicsgate is a loose alliance of people who are friends, and you guys promote each other's books. And you say, but what do you guys do? Is there any sort of outreach to you go, you know what? Let's look at Kickstarter and see what's going on. And what are these other comics that maybe we don't know these guys personally, but hey, this looks like a good book. Let's promote that. Or, hey, let's contact that guy and see if he wants to come on the stream and talk about his thing. Is there any of that going on? Or are you just worried about your stuff and your guys? Because either way works. Either way is fine.
Yeah, my thing is, why would I invite more people over here? Because being Comicsgate means you're going to be called, you're a member of a hate group. You're associated with bigots. We don't want that for other people. I mean, it's complete bullshit what we have to go through. Just being Comicsgate and kind of working together to make comics. So anybody it's not like we scout out other people and say, let's try to convince them to join our little club. That would be cruel. We don't want to do that. So occasionally what I'll do is I'll go to Kickstarter and Indiegogo and I'll look at other people's campaigns and I will personally on my live stream say, this looks really good. You guys should maybe back this without inviting them to be a part of my show or anything like that. That way they have plausible deniability in case they're, on edge about being associated with us. And, now and then when I do that, I get some really nice emails from people who say, hey, I saw that. I'm a fan. Thank you. I really appreciate the shout out. We made a few bucks. That's the extent of it. But in order to be with us and to kind of hang out with us, you really do have to kind of make a commitment to being called a bigot by retards forever. So, I mean, it's not something that I want to encourage or recommend to people. It sucks.
Oh, it's no fun.
Yeah, it's no fun. It's annoying. It's when it happens to you for the first time, you can't believe it. You've seen it happen to me. You've seen it happen to John Malin. You've seen it happen to certain people in the Comicsgate, and you sort of understand it academically. But Aaron Lopresti, when it started happening to him, he couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe it was real. And it is real and it's painful and awful. And so, if what we stand for means so much to you that you want to be a part of it, I don't have to convince you. You're going to try to convince me and everyone else. And I think that's good. I think that's the way it should be.
That's understandable. Like I said, before all this, I was part of Gamergate and I was called all kind of names and I'm a bigot. I'm a white supremacist, even though I'm not white, and all that weird stuff. So I get it. I understand. One of my other, I don't say complaints, issues was, this applies more to Eric July because I don't think Comicsgate is banned from Reddit discussions. But I remember Eric July, his comic got banned from Reddit, and I said, why isn't there a forum, like a Comicsgate forum, where you could have the fans come in and discuss Cyberfrog right there on a forum where you can see all their talking, they can congregate with each other. Because forums, people want to be like, oh, forums are gone, but stuff like NeoGAF, Kotaku, not Kotaku, what's the other one? GameSpot, they have all their forums still, and they're still active. Even Steam, for every game, has a little discussion forum that you can go to and talk about the game.
Sure. Well, we use a little something called YouTube for that very same thing. I mean, everybody socializes and talks about the books and whatever it is on various YouTube channels.
Yeah, but it's hard that way. Like if I want to talk Cyberfrog and the story of Cyberfrog, what YouTube video should I go to go into the comment section?
No, you should come to a live stream and talk about it there, ask questions, whatever you want to do.
I'm talking about with other fans. I want to talk with other fans about Cyberfrog. Where do I go?
Sure. Yeah, sure. I don't know. I mean, Twitter, YouTube, anybody who wanted to make like an old school kind of community forum or something like that on Reddit. I think there probably is a Reddit. There's a Facebook one. I don't know if they're tremendously successful because it's just not the way Comicsgate tends to socialize. Comicsgaters like to meet up on YouTube and haunt the chats and call me fat and stuff like that. It's just
something about you eat a lot of pie or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Like that's what they like to do. So,
I get that. Sure. I get that community, but like I said, there's going to be times where you're not streaming, right? And people might want to discuss. They want to know, hey, I got time to talk. I can go check in. Like because on Reddit, I can go check into Reddit and go, hey, what's going on with this game? And then people will comment, and I can go about my business, come back later, and carry on the discussion.
Right.
It's really hard. I can't just pop into a live stream, start talking to somebody, fuck off for 4 hours, come back, oh shit, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to make a forum like that. If somebody else wants to, they can do that. It really is up to the fans to do stuff like that. There just doesn't seem to be. I hear what you're saying, but there just doesn't seem to be too much of a demand for that. And again, it could be just part of being Comicsgate is to some degree being kind of underground because anywhere we go, like if we pop up on any other like comic book forum and just say, hey, did you read like Inglorious Rex? Banned. Any mention of Comicsgate is banned.
Your own. So if I were to go right now and make one, you would be okay if I put this is comicsgateforum.com.
Yeah, like I would
logo.
Yeah. I mean, if it were monetized, I would grant you. I'd have to grant you a sub license. Kind of like ISOM, the ministry has to grant or July like a license, and we don't have to charge you, but I have to license it to you if it were monetized. It's just part of my obligation.
Yeah, I understand.
But sure,
Katie Kirby says the CG slums, you can call it.
CG slums actually exists. It's it's a bunch of different YouTubers who call themselves the CG slums.
See, like I said, I'm not that deep. And I told a story on that video, but like 5 years ago, because I have a website and I write articles, and I used to write articles for other things. And I was interested in Comicsgate because I read a lot of Marvel comics growing up. My local comic shop closed. I got married. I had family, and I wanted to come back into it. And there was really nowhere for me to pick up. They did so many events in that interim that I was just lost, right?
Yeah.
So then I heard Comicsgate, and I'm like, oh, these guys are starting out new. There's going to be new stuff, right? Let me look into it. And I was going to write an article so I could, talk about it and, share my interest in this new thing. And I went to a live stream for a Ethan Van Sciver because they said, Ethan Van Sciver, you got to go to that live stream. He's the one. And the chat was popping, so I really couldn't get your attention in the chat. So I super chatted you. And I said, hey, I'm going to write an article about Comicsgate, but I would like some info. I don't really know that much. And is there a place I could go so I could learn about Comicsgate, what comics they got and everything, all the information in one place. And you know what you told me?
Go F yourself?
No, you said, just watch my streams.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I don't think people, have the time to go watch. At that point, it's probably like 50, 60, 70 streams of 3 and 4 and 5 hours to try to get nuggets and kernels of information about Comicsgate. And that's part of where the frustration is, because I would like to, a simple Comicsgate wiki that you can go to and go, here's all the characters. Here's the ones that are by Ethan. Here's the ones by the other guy. Everyone who's in Comicsgate, all their comics, how many issues, what they cost, where you can get them at. Links to the campaigns when they come up.
Yeah, there's Comicsgate.com. Wait, it's Comicsgate.net. Hold on a second. Let me look real quick here, just for my own amusement. Comicsgate.net. What pops up? That's not it. Is it CG.net? CG.net. There are a lot of huge websites associated with Comicsgate. I can't find them now. For some reason, I'm having kind of a senior moment, and I can't remember what there are. But there are at least 3 or 4 different websites that list every single thing that's coming out of Comicsgate at all times. Oh, Comicsgate.org. Is it cg.org or Comicsgate.org? Let me take a look here. Thank you, chat.
It looks like Comicsgate.org.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Comicsgate.org has everything there. And, people run it and it's good. And there's CG Now. That's right. CGNow.net. A few. But, I mean, in general, like, there aren't newsletters and things, I guess. It isn't that really well organized as a group. I don't know if it should be. I don't know if it would be better if it was, but.
He says again, CG is not a business; it's a club. We have thousands of members. I get that now. Like I said, there was just a misunderstanding as to what it is. Because if you ask someone who's not Ethan, you say, "Hey, what's Comicsgate?" You might get 3 or 4 different answers. You go ask enough people, they're going to give you multiple.
Well, I mean, I gave you at the beginning, I gave you like 8 different answers, and I said it's all of those things. So it's not like somebody is going to say something, and I'm going to say, no, it's not that. Probably not. If somebody says it's a knitting club, I'm going to say it's not that. But it is a bunch of different things. It's a bunch of different kind of ideas that all kind of work in harmony, and everybody wants to be Comicsgate for their own reasons, their own goals. But there isn't like it is like it means different things to different people, but they're all sort of the same thing, same idea. The idea is that leftists have made mainstream comic books, undesirable. They've made the hobby less fun. They've made interacting with them poisonous, and they've made the industry less profitable. So Comicsgate is a customer service movement. It is about creators being able to make books without being harassed for being maybe right-wing or Christian. But it isn't. It's not just necessarily right-wing or Christian. You can kind of be anything, and be here. It's you'll hear things, but they all kind of work in concert with each other, and they're all about the same kind of central idea. That what's happening in comics right now isn't working out, and we think it's because of the political activists that are there.
And I understand it. Like I said, I am always for creative freedom. Let artists be artists. Let them do what they got to do. So I get that. But as much as I love Cyberfrog, I don't want to wait 8 months, 6 months, even 3 months for another book, right? Is there ever going to be a time where Comicsgate is putting out at least, Cyberfrog's coming out once a month?
I don't think so, because I want to do it. It's not like Cyberfrog isn't Spider-Man. It's not Batman. It's my project. It's like, I don't want to wait a year for the new Harry Potter book. Well, what do you want? You want other people than J.K. Rowling to write them? No, it's her book.
Yeah, but to be fair, Harry Potter books, it's a lot more pages than Cyberfrog.
Yeah, but she doesn't have to draw shit. She just has to type. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I have to draw like 48 to 70 pages worth of highly detailed artwork, and it takes a while. So I want it to come out quicker, but my goal with Cyberfrog is the completed thing. It isn't having a monthly periodical. I just don't see comic books that way anymore. I don't think they work that way. When you look at like monthly comics, only a few monthly comics can really survive anymore. the way that they are. People kind of put out a number one issue, and the retailer over orders the number one issue, and then by issue number 3, he's only ordering 20% of issue number 1, and before it gets to issue 6, by issue 6 it's canceled, and then it becomes a trade paperback, I guess. The whole thing just kind of doesn't work. There's no. Here's the thing, like,
but isn't that a quality problem? Because if issue 1 is good, then you're not going to have that sort of drop off, right? Because look at Heartbreaker, the one that you didn't like, with the gay people. It sold like what they say, like 28 million worldwide or something like that. Like those books sell, whether we like them or not, whether it's for us, that sells. So it proves that if something is hitting with the market that people like, they're going to buy. Manga sells, people, because the stories are good and they're pumping them out on a regular beat.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't want to get into that. It's just irrelevant. It's not what I want to talk about. I mean, I could sit there and go, oh yeah, well, they're, woke syndicates of librarians and Scholastic Books who are, over ordering those and putting them, it's irrelevant right now. That's not the kind of conversation I want to get into. I don't care. Like, I just don't. I used to care about that kind of a thing. Mostly I don't anymore. I don't think fighting these people works. It's a losing battle. Like, they have all of the advantages. We really don't have any. We just don't have any advantages except for the internet. So I think it's fair to point out that, like, these comics that they're putting out are doing harm. I don't think they're good. I don't think it's good to sit there and put sexually explicit literature in front of children in public schools. I just don't think that's a great idea. I don't think the idea of making kids question their genders through comics in public school libraries that are funded with our taxpayer dollars, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't like that. And I'll talk about it, but ultimately my goal isn't to just make that stop. That's not really within my control. My goal is to just try to make something better. And then, I'm just one person, so I'm just trying to make one story that's better. Does that make sense? I mean, it might not seem like a lot that I'm doing, but I'm trying to tell one story, and that's what I want to do with my life. It's just tell one story about a frog, and then put it out there and see what happens. And I mean, if everybody were to do that, if everybody were to just spend their life, everybody with talent, making something that was pure and worthwhile, something that was something that could stand the test of time, something that wasn't corrupted by trendy sexual issues of the day. I don't know. I just think I think maybe things could be better. Everything feels corrupt to me right now. All these even Blue's Clues. I put on these kid shows, and there's a drag queen telling my kids that you can have 2 daddies. It's like, okay, this is great. This is fantastic. Thanks, left. Thank you, left wingers.
But some people do have 2 daddies. So isn't that? So if you send your kid to school, right, and they go to school, and then Jimmy's parents come to pick him up, and his 2 daddies, he's gonna wonder. Right. He's gonna be like, what's going on? So isn't it good that Blue's Clues like, hey, if you're curious, some people have 2 dads, and I'm sure there's nothing graphic in a Blue's Clues. Just, hey, there's two guys.
Well, there's a man dressed like a woman flitting around being a drag queen and saying some people have 2 daddies, and then showing like a gay pride parade. Look, let me do it. How about if I tell my kids what I want to tell them? Why is Blue's Clues sneaking behind my back when really they're supposed to be teaching kids about mail time and the colors of the rainbow, and not in that way, and shapes and animals. And instead now they're talking to kids about sexual deviancies and other people's adult proclivities and situations that apply to a very, very small population of people, and telling them what they think about it. I don't care what they think about it. These people, these activists are reaching in and trying to influence our children without our permission. You would think that you could trust a program like Blue's Clues. You can't. You think you could trust Paw Patrol. You can't. They know, these people know, what your kids are watching. They know that you rely on this entertainment to keep your kids busy and occupied for 30 minutes out of the day. And they reach right in there and grab your kids.
But isn't there some parental responsibility? Like, I have a kid, and I know what my kid's watching, and what was the episode was going to be about. Remember, they have TV guides. You could see what. It's not like they're going, "Hey, this episode's about shapes," and then, "Oh no, there's drag."
It shouldn't be there at all. I shouldn't have to consult the TV guide to see if this, cartoon is going to contain degeneracy on Nickelodeon. It shouldn't be a thing. It just shouldn't be a thing. But it is. I don't think it's going to get better unless people make something different, provide other alternatives. And by the way, don't go to the Daily Wire. I don't know if you've seen their kiddie cartoons. They're awful, just awful. It's like I feel like conservatives are just not, they're just not creatively minded, which is sad. They can imitate creativity, but for the most part.
Luster Dog says, once again, EVS is pro-LGBT and said CG is friendly towards that movement.
No, we're not friendly towards a gay movement. We're friendly towards individuals who are gay. Absolutely.
So what would be the difference between individuals who are gay versus the gay movement? And what in your opinion, is the movement?
Oh, I think the movement would be exactly what I described. I think it's an effort to reach and reprogram our children to have different attitudes about sex and gender and homosexuality and transgender issues and things like that than what are traditionally the norms.
So you think
I think that's an activist movement? No, I just think it is. I think it is a thing. I don't know if I think it's bad. I think there's some things about it that are not so great. But no, in any case, what I don't think is, I don't think that other people should be telling your kids what to think about it.
Well, I can agree with that. I don't think you should have the talk with your kids, and because the world exists, and they're going to go out into the world, and they're going to see gay people existing and trans people existing and drag people existing. There's no laws against those people not being able to go outside. So your kids are going to see them at some point. So you should,
your kids are going to
at least prepare
queens.
them.
I take them to the supermarket. And
have you ever been to Walmart?
They're drag queens. Yeah, I don't think so. I haven't seen them, but maybe. I mean, I live in New Jersey, which is very conservative. So
I live in a very liberal city, so maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, right. New Jersey's like as blue as can be. You don't really see too much of that. You have to go looking for it. But no, it's no longer going to be an issue of going to look for it. They're going to put it right where you see it.
All right. And so I got a question from the private chat.
1 second. I'll be right back.
All right. While we're waiting for Ethan to come back, I owe you guys a dance.
Wow, go Vito. That's great.
Yeah, well, that's what they get. When they give me money, I give them Vito. It seems to work. I don't know why.
Gordo 86 says, yeah, just disgusting. He found that to be. I mean, I wouldn't say it's disgusting. It's just a nerdy guy sitting on his couch dancing.
So, like I said, the point was never really to get into all that, right? So, we'll put a pin in that, come back to that sometime down the road later, because it's really about the comic books, making comics.
Well, what it's about is, no matter how you feel about any of those things, you should be able to put them in comics, or you should be able to not put them in your comics. You should be able to do whatever you want to do. And it's very difficult to hold views Christian views, Christian values, for example, and say, as some people do, homosexuality is a sin against God and nature. I'm not somebody who feels that way, but I think there are people who do. And those people wouldn't be allowed to make comics in the mainstream, and I don't think that's right. So,
yeah, I agree with you. I've never looked at a product and go, "Hey, what's the guy who makes that? What's his beliefs on the war in Israel right now? What does he think about gay people?" I never thought that. Right? I just buy a product if I like it. If I don't like it, that's me. Apparently, the world has changed. I'm old, and the world has changed around me, and people give a shit what other people think before they buy something, which I think is fucking retarded. But I mean, here we are.
Anthony says, it's clear you feel that way. Just man up and say it. Lol. I don't feel that way. I don't. It's not how I feel. But I really resent those issues being put in children's fare. I really resent that if I did feel that way, I'd be in trouble. I don't feel that way. I would tell you if I did. Quite happy to. I'm comfortable walking that line.
Luster Dog said EVS kicked Mike S. Miller out of Comicsgate for expressing his religious views. Again, more BS from EVS.
No, I didn't kick Mike out of Comicsgate. Mike left Comicsgate. This always happens. People leave Comicsgate and I say, come on back. And they say no. And then later it's Ethan kicked them out of Comicsgate. What actually happened was Mike S. Miller was repeatedly over and over and over again bringing bad PR to Comicsgate. Over and over and over again. And I asked him to please stop it because he was hurting himself. And I got lectured by him for it. First thing that he did was, he did a bunch of weird stuff. He kind of, he tried to sell a bunch of weird comics that I think he had pre-sold under another comic book company before as a package deal. Nobody wanted them. He ended up having to, I think he raised $50,000 for 3 whole comic books. He was mad about that. One of them was the Meg. He was acting very fishy over all that stuff. Then he decided to do a variant cover for Lone Star in which he drew over a Mike Wieringo Spider-Man sketch. And then he traced in Mike Wieringo's signature and then said that he was the inker. And he said, this is the final. It's like something out of fucking Ed Wood. This is the very last Mike Wieringo cover ever to exist. And it's on my book, Lone Star. And Mike Wieringo's brother, his surviving brother, got very upset and started to cry. And so Mike, I don't know, there was a big article about it in Bleeding Cool. Everyone was outraged with Mike in Comicsgate. So Mike decided to do the only sane thing. And he set fire to the piece of artwork on a live stream while Mike Wieringo's brother cried. And Mike laughed. And it was just fucking, it was so horrible. Mike just kept doing awful things over and over again while his house was being, he was being kicked out of his house. We're trying to kind of get him on his feet. And then he tweeted out, Pride is a sin on June 4th, Pride Month, hashtag Pride Month. And I just said, Mike, could you please, for 1 second, please stop bringing bad PR to Comicsgate? Please knock it off. Mike flipped out about his religious freedom, which is fair. I think he's right about that. And quit Comicsgate. So I kicked him out, though.
Like I said, I'm not deep into the lore.
That's the lore on that. But, I don't kick anyone out. I want everybody to be a part of Comicsgate, except for Patrick Thomas Parnell. And now Mike S. Miller also. I don't want him to be in there. I would gatekeep him if I could.
I know there's a several thousand page, not several thousand, but at least I think it's at least 1,100 or something like that pages on Kiwi Farms about Comicsgate. I didn't have time to read it all before the show. So,
yeah.
So I like I said, I had reached out to you and I was going to do some research and then you didn't get back to me. So then we did a random thing. So I will admit I am less knowledgeable than I should have been coming into this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there have been interpersonal problems within Comicsgate, just like there were with Gamergate, because it's just a bunch of different people who all see things in different ways and don't get along. I mean, even now, It's like there's, adults squabbling with each other all the time. Not me though.
So, like I said, there is a comment in the private chat here. It says, this is from Pastor Father Hostage. He said he thinks that EVS should just write and draw the covers, then pay an artist for the interior, or at least release a 90-page book every 6 months, graphic novel. He says the monthly doesn't work because TV shows are weekly. It makes no sense that a cheaper medium can't come out once a week. So be once every 4 months with a 90-page comic. Is that something you thought about, or would you never consider having someone do
I would never consider that. Ever. Why is it so hard to just like, this is my comic book. I'm going to draw it. I'm going to put it out. It'll come out when it comes out. That's the way it is.
And what's the
at what point do I draw? Well, because it's my comic book. Like, why? Like, I'm the one who's drawing it. I understand that if I got somebody else, any rando, to draw it who can draw quicker, it would come out quicker. But it wouldn't be my comic book. It would be somebody else's comic book. I never understand people who do that. It's like, what are you doing this for? Just to put a comic book out? Or are you doing this because you are an artist who would like to do a comic book yourself?
And how come no digital? Digital seems to be like a curse within CG. Like people don't want to put out digital books.
I don't know. No, it's not. I mean, anybody who wants to do that could. It's just not something I'm doing right now. But I mean, eventually I will. It's just like all of these ideas are not money makers. Putting it out digitally, I don't see where the money's coming from there. And I see a lot of piracy opportunities, more convenient piracy opportunities. I just don't really see, more people will get to read it. Yeah, for free. I don't understand why people would do that. It doesn't seem like there are too many people that are working in indie comics with their eye on making money. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about how can I make the most money from my work. So eventually, when it's been, when I put it out in every other single way, like when I put out the completed 4 issues as a hardcover in bookstores, yeah, I'll probably put it out all for a digital version, for people to read. But it seems not important to me.
Anna John says, well, the drawers of manga, they get assistance. Yeah. Have you considered that at least, getting an assistant to help you?
No. For the same reason, it's my artwork. What I mean, manga is about getting something out really, really quickly all the time, and frankly, it really doesn't matter. I don't think those people care if they drew the whole thing by themselves or not.
Alfred says digital would be good for people who don't want to pay $50 in shipping.
No, I agree. Yeah, I mean that's
So here's my thought about digital, and I understand there's gonna be a lot of piracy, right? Yeah. Those people were never gonna buy your book anyway, right? So you're not losing any money, because if it's digital and they're pirating it, or if they're not buying it, it's the same amount of money in your pocket, right? But there might be someone who buys it digital and says, hey, you know what? Now I need the physical. Now I need the next issue.
I know it's a fascinating way of looking at it. Like, the people who are like stealing from you are never going to give you money anyway. So who cares if they steal from you?
No, I'm not saying I understand that they shouldn't.
It's not. I mean, it's not that big of a. Yeah, it's not that big of a concern to me. Like, it's not even so much that I'm like anti-piracy. I mean, I am, but I'm not like. It's just not that big of an issue in my life. It's just that the effort of putting it out digitally just doesn't make sense. To me, it's like too much work for no money. Why would I do it? I mean, that's what it comes down to. All right, so I put it out digitally. I've made these nice digital files that scroll properly when you click your mouse a certain way, and there it is. It's great. And now people can easily steal it, and there's very little money in it, and I don't know why do that.
Because you want people to read your book?
No, I want people to pay me to read the book. I don't care if they read the book. I want you to pay me to read the book. Reading the book is great. I would like it if people actually paid for it. You want people to see the movie? Well, I want people to mostly pay to see the movie. You want people to ride the amusement park rides? Yes, I want them to pay to ride the amusement park rides. It'd be wonderful if the entire world had fun for free, but people are working.
There are anti-piracy measures you could do with the digital. It would be more expensive, but like Telegram, for instance, right? You cannot screenshot Telegram; it'll screenshot a blank screen. If you try to put it into a program to record the screen, it'll come up blank, and none of the actual screen records. The only way to do it is you'd have to take a phone and like take a picture of your phone, right? Like so, if you did digital, like the only way they would have to it would be a picture of your computer monitor, not the actual file. So it would look shitty anyway.
I know. Well, I don't care. It's not a concern.
Why do people want EVS to do stuff he doesn't want to do?
Oh my God! Every time we talk about stuff like this, it's like, why don't you stop drawing the book and why don't you give it away for free? And I'm like, those are two bright ideas. Really good.
Those are the best ideas. I'll get a free book and it won't be from EVS. Look at that. It'll be from some assistant.
Yeah. Well, I could probably get some good assistants.
Lemon says, literally every anti-piracy method can be. I know that. I'm not stupid, right? I was just saying things, essentially. Like I said, I'm anti-piracy all day, every day. You can ask anybody. I'm always saying on the channel not to pirate anything. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. You're not owed entertainment, right? You're not entitled to reading Ethan's comic. You're not entitled to playing a game or watching a movie, right? If you can't afford it, don't buy it. That's just me. A lot of people like piracy, whatever. Fuck them. I'm just saying it would be more accessible to people. If not, I wouldn't say put out the digital. Like if the campaign ends in September and the books ship in December, the digital doesn't go out until say next March. So you've pretty much everybody who's going to buy the book has already bought the book, right? And then the digital would just be a little extra on top. And for anyone who's a cheap ass, they could pick up the book digital.
I mean, we don't see it that way. Like we sell the book, continuously through eBay, and it's our eBay store is really where we make most of our money. Not the campaign itself. Selling things after fulfillment is complete.
Beefy says he'd take an action figure for free though if you want to throw him one.
Oh, cool.
He does action figures opening with his son.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tony won't even watch Pirates of the Caribbean. He's anti-pirate. Exactly. The first one's the only good one anyway. So
they're very lengthy. I mean, 3-4 hours of that stuff goes a long way.
Says a thought. EVS, you review in detail, panel for panel, page for page, your Cyberfrog book on a long stream, which basically shows off the whole book. If you put it out, at least you get money for it.
Yeah, and I'm going to do that again, George, with the Wreck Planet, where I'm just going to go through it and talk about it. And I guess if you want to have received or consume the book that way, if it's possible, yeah, you could do that. But I don't know if it's the same experience. I like to do commentary tracks for the books that I've done and just open them up and talk about it, because I think people would be surprised how much thought and how much work goes into these comics. And if they, if we talk about it, maybe they'll get some ideas for their own books.
I know a lot of reviewers rather have digital because it makes it easier to do the review, pull out a panel that you want. Mm-hmm. So what is your stance if I say, you know what, Ethan, I bought the book, I'm going to review it. I don't want to tear it apart to scan these pages. Can I get a PDF from you? And, obviously I'm not going to share it just to use it for review. Is that even something you're open to if someone reached out?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I'm just you see my face. My camera's off. My face, my eyes are squinted and I'm grimacing. I'm I don't know. It's just not that important to me. None of this stuff.
Well, I heard, maybe I'm wrong, but I had heard that you were complaining that there's not a lot of people talking about Cyberfrog, that you would like more conversation about the book.
Well, not just about Cyberfrog, but about indie comics in general. You know, there's a meme going around that, you know, nobody has read ISOM. And I mean, if that's true, it's tragic. You know, when you confront people about it, it turns out that usually, yeah, they haven't read it. So
I wish I was one of those people. Unfortunately, I'm not.
I read it too. Yeah. I liked it when I first read it because I was surprised that it wasn't like I wasn't even paying attention to, is there a cohesive or coherent story here? I was just like, wow, it looks like a comic book. I was so impressed that it looked like a comic book. I didn't think Eric could do it. I wasn't sure. And I was like, oh, look, yeah. So I wasn't really paying close attention to it when I read it, but, you know, I had some questions along the way too. But people should be reading these books. I think that would be good. Yeah. I don't know if, you know, helping them to make review videos by providing them with PDFs is something that we need to be doing. It just doesn't seem like, you know, that it doesn't seem that like that much of a necessity. Here's a digital copy so that you can make a review video of the book. I don't know if anybody needs that, you know. It's just it might help, it might be nicer, but so what?
I mean, a nice review, you get more eyes on it. Obviously, not for some guy who's got like, hey, I got 10 subscribers. You think you could throw me? I'm talking about like the bigger channels, way bigger than me.
Yeah.
Niobe says, in my current Kickstarter, we do digital. 1/3 of our backers are digital. EVS is correct, though. It's not a lot of money, but it's easy money. Books I don't got to ship, just a link to a Dropbox.
Wow.
John is correct, though. He says, I think more detractors have read ISOM than people who buy it.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite part of ISOM?
I think my favorite part of ISOM was like ironically, like when he and Yaira collided in midair. I thought that was great. I was just like, wow, that's a cartoon. They like somebody threw ISOM into the air, and then Yaira was flying, like had gotten hit, and the two of them collided in midair. I mean, the likelihood of that is, the chances of that occurring are, you know,
so astronomical.
Yeah.
I think one of the issues I had, and I think I discussed this with you before, is like there's so many inconsistencies in ISOM. Like when Yaira first shows up, suddenly all the sound effects are gone. There's just like no sound effects in her first fight. You know, cops are shooting guns. There's no sound effects. She's doing her powers, and I'm like, what is this a mistake? And you know, they sent the wrong proof. Did Eric just forget to put sound effects? You know, what the hell's going on here? A lot of the pages, especially in 2, it's just square panels. Page after page, here's 6 square panels.
What do you want? Like more like anchor panels and breaking borders and all that stuff? You want more?
Yeah, more excitement, more dynamic.
Yeah,
something interesting.
Yeah. It's good for storytelling to just kind of stick to that, but yeah, it isn't very pleasing to the eye. But you know, when you're just doing grid panels and you're just telling a story within them, I think the story flows a little bit better, and only breaking away into splash pages every now and then for impact. But yeah, it isn't very fun to look at. You know, you want to do it. You want to design the page a little bit more if possible.
Yeah. Well, it's a twofold issue because it's not very visually pleasing, and then what's actually happening, like there's like 6 panels of his truck driving. It's like, oh, there's the truck turning right. Now it's turning into, it's like, he's not even thinking. There's like no dialogue. It's just 6 panels of the truck driving from one location to another.
But it's real. You know, it's like, it's real. It's like a TV show, I guess.
Like, stuff happens. Like he gets a gun. There's like a whole thing where he's suiting up and he gets his gun and then he never uses it.
Why does he get a gun? Like what was
no idea. He goes, he puts a gun, he puts it in his holster, and next thing you know, he's off to the robot guy Gooding's place, and then they start fighting hell monkeys, and then he never uses the gun.
He never shoots a hell monkey with the gun. Huh, you'd think he would.
And it doesn't even make sense why he needs the gun. I thought he had superpowers, but I guess maybe he doesn't.
It is cool, though, to like go get your gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's pretty badass. Like when you go in, you suit up and like you get your gun, you put it. Is he wearing like in a holster, like underneath his shirt or something, or
no, it's like on his belt.
On his belt. Like then you get you put your gun in your holster on your belt, and you're just like, hell yeah, my Second Amendment rights. Like that is kind of cool. I don't know if it's superhero cool, but
I don't want to just drag you into like shitting on ISOM.
I'm not. I'm just saying, more people that are talking about ISOM now, though. I mean, that's the cool thing is that people are actually talking about it. Not always in a positive way, but at least it's being spoken about. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I wish there was more people talking about Cyberfrog.
Yeah, me too. That'd be nice.
Yeah, if there was like a forum or something where people just go discuss.
I don't know. Am I supposed to make a forum and just like everybody come here? I mean, as you said, like an issue comes out every couple of years or so. So it doesn't seem like what's the activity going to be?
I guess that would be the other thing.
Yeah, I mean, if it were coming out monthly, then maybe everybody would want to talk about it like it's a soap opera, but it isn't. It's just a project that I'm doing, So I don't know. I don't think there's I like to see review videos, and there have been a few really good ones. Yours was one of them. I don't see like continuous discussion of it. The reason why people are talking about ISOM is because it's so very controversial right now. I think that's good. I think it's working in Eric July's favor. I'm excited about Alpha Core, which I think is funding next month. I think it's going to do. I'm going to say $3 million for Alpha Core #1.
Oh, I don't think it's going to do that well.
Why not?
Because it's not Eric's book.
What?
It's not Eric's book. I mean, Eric is writing ISOM. He's not writing Alpha Core. He's not drawing Alpha Core. He's not. He didn't do the.
Why isn't he writing Alpha Core?
Because Chuck Dixon's writing it.
Why?
Because he hired him.
How come?
Because he got a name. Well, what I'm here, I think I know where the issue is. What I'm trying to say, Ethan, is even though Chuck Dixon is a good writer and he has a following, he does not have the following that Eric has. I'm saying that the reason that the first two campaigns did so well is because people were buying Eric's book, not that they were buying a good book. So I think that Chuck Dixon will have a successful campaign for Alpha.
So you think most people are probably the reason why ISOM did so well is one of the reasons is because people were connected to the creator who was working on it. And so it was really important that Eric July, if he's going to continue to have $1 million campaigns, that he be the one who's working on it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, remember the conversation we had earlier about Ethan? Why don't you let somebody else draw Cyberfrog?
I didn't say that. That was someone else's suggestion.
Uh-huh.
I was just the medium in which that was expressed.
Right. There you go. Asked and answered. It's true. I mean, Cyberfrog's connected to me. ISOM's connected to Eric July. I don't know how Alpha Core is going to do, but this is the experiment. I mean, it's just kind of like, all right, so now if Eric July is not a good writer, that's what people are saying. So he's gone off and he's hired a good writer, Chuck Dixon. Maybe now he's got Joe Bennett drawing it. Maybe now it's going to do better, but it's not going to do better because Eric July isn't writing it. It's kind of a weird catch-22. Yeah. It sucks. It's the way it is.
And I think the other, if you look at the actual comic sales, so the first campaign was like 3 million, right?
3.7 million.
But the actual comic sales were like 2 million. Because if you look at the campaign, is not just comic books. There's the posters, there's the cards. There was other things being offered. The hats and stuff were all connected to that first campaign. Just like the second campaign. Because it has the numbers of how many of each cover were sold. And so all you got to do is add those up, multiply it by the 35, and you get how much actual comic book money was made. And then the rest would be the non-comic book items, right?
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. Sure. Yeah.
So
You're trying to diminish it. You're like,
I'm not trying to diminish it. I'm just
it's
saying
only $2 million. Oh, okay. Well, that sucks. It's
well,
only
no,
$2
but I'm
million.
saying is so if you look at it, so if it falls under like 2 million would be as much comic book money as he made, right? So if this
Okay.
book does 2 million, it would actually be the equivalent of Eric's.
Now hold on, because the second book did 2.3 million. So look at that.
Well, it's the
There
same situation.
There wasn't a fall off.
Oh, there was, because the second campaign also had items that were outside of the comic book.
Are you sure?
Yes.
No.
I did that math like 2 days
You
ago.
did that math too?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Oh my God. Everybody's so concerned about this. Well, I'm very curious about, my curiosity is about Alpha Core. Now my thing is, I think it is going to do 3 million because I personally just don't think people care about ISOM, the character. I think they're waiting for something else. Alpha Core might be better. And by the way, why wouldn't, there are people who are saying, no, it's spelled wrong. It should be CORPS. But no, I think it's Alpha Core. It's the core unit, the core of the unit, not a group, but it's Alpha, the core within something, right?
Oh, so you think there's a bigger organization they're connected to?
That's right. I don't think Eric's stupid. I think that's what it means.
You have an issue like me where you say things and it always sounds sarcastic, and people are like, "Is Ethan being serious here, or is he?"
No, I mean, what did I just say though? What I said made sense. So how could it be sarcastic? If it's Alpha, the best, a core, which is like a kind of like a seed, a unit within something else, right? The core of an apple, the center of an apple, the best in the center of something. What is that something? I don't know.
There are a lot of things in the Rippaverse, I guess, that are interesting, but that we never get any sort of discussion in the book about, right? Because there's a war. Texas is free. So I'm like, okay.
All right.
Is there a president of Texas? Is there a dictator of Texas? What's going on with the government in Texas? And like, he just says a thing and it's like, yeah, that's not really important. We just wanted to let you know there was a war in Texas. It's free, but we're not going to discuss any of the ramifications that came out of that. Here's ISOM fighting a hell monkey.
Well, I mean, maybe it's not important to the central story of ISOM fighting a hell monkey, though, like who was president. It might be kind of interesting, and maybe they'll touch on it later, but Ted Cruz is president of the United States, president of Texas, the state of Texas.
But see, that's where my mind is like, okay, what's more interesting? Having the president of Texas do a little speech for 6 pages where you hear things and he's talking about, say, the superhero, the accept registration and blah, 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 or 6 pages of a wrestling promo that has nothing to do with the rest of the story. At least if he was watching the president on TV, right? And then you go, okay, I get a little world building. Oh, he's watching. It's a guy watching TV. That makes sense to me. Oh, he's watching a wrestler on TV. Why did we waste 6 pages on that?
Yeah, why do you think? What do you think the wrestler is?
Well, it was a Stone Cold knockoff. So that's first off.
Shungite. Larry Shungite.
All the names are so fucking stupid too.
Larry Shug. Well, it's Suge Knight turned inside out.
Yeah.
Larry Suge Knight. So maybe it isn't stupid.
Unless he's coming out with a wrestling book. He's like, oh, by the way, guys, we got fucking this new book. It's about wrestlers. Like, I don't think this would, you could cut those 6 pages out and lose nothing of the story, right? And it feels like a lot of his book is padding. Like, I told you I was going to give you 106 pages. Shit, now I got to figure out how to fill in because I only got 90 pages of story.
Yeah, it's not immediately clear what Larry Shungite has to do with anything. But, I'm sure it's a failing of mine because I didn't finish reading the book. But I will say this, like, there's a whole other book. There's issue 3 that's going to fill out the ill-advised arc. So I think a lot of this stuff is going to kind of come together. You're going to realize. You ever see that movie Magnolia by Paul Thomas Anderson?
Yeah.
you know how like you meet all these characters and you're like, what the hell? Like, what do these people have to do with each other? And then in the end, they all come together like, oh, that's her father. And you know what I mean? And you just go, oh yeah, I see the pain of everybody. Everybody's interstitched, and then it rains frogs.
Yeah. Well, could you imagine you were watching Magnolia, but you watched 30 minutes, then you had to wait 6 months for the next 30 minutes, and then 6 more months before you finally, oh, that's how it all connects. Wouldn't that be a little frustrating?
I don't know. Does it seem like, are you impatient for ISOM number 3? Can't wait.
Can't wait. It's my biggest moneymaker. I can't wait. I hope he pumps out comics left and right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can wait, you know, that's okay.
It's not my sketchbook says this whole thing is stupid. Yeah, I've been told that before.
Where's Figure Drawing? Why isn't he in here causing trouble?
Because I didn't put you in the title, so he probably didn't realize you were going to be here. Yeah. So something happened today. I don't know if you were watching earlier. I know you were watching the baseball game, but something happened to me this morning, and it caused me to notice that the CEO of ISOM is now following my channel. It's following me on Twitter, my co-host, and apparently he follows you on Twitter too.
Oh, you don't say. I didn't know that. Well, I'll try my best not to say anything that would make difficulty for Eric July. I don't like the idea. I mean, what I've said about him is that he's a vampire and a weird Christian gangster. I mean, those are the things that I've said about that individual. And I really feel like, like he's, we just don't want you to, we wish you to, like, I really feel like he's closely monitoring events in order to utterly destroy Eric July's business. You know, Eric thinks it's Dick Masterson that wants to destroy his business. It's not. It's this international school ministry. All along. God. Yeah, God. It's actually God that wants to destroy Rippaverse, I guess. I don't know. But this guy knows everything. He's sitting there watching like Timcast. He's watching Timcast for like not even Eric isn't even on Timcast. He's watching Timcast for other people to reference Eric July and ISOM so that he can work that into his plan. When he was like, you know, we understand, we just want to come to some difference because, you know, from what we understand, you're talking to Angel Studios, and we all know that, you know, they're like trillionaires. You're talking to Angel Studios about a movie. Maybe it'll be like a big Marvel movie, like a big MCU movie. It's like, probably not, dude. They're Angel Studios. You know, no offense to them, but like Angel Studios is maybe like half a step above the Daily Wire. You know, it's like probably not going to be a big money maker, even if they were. And they're not. It's just something that somebody like Tim Pool said once.
Yeah. I misspoke, Primetime. When I said follows you, I meant follows his company, All Caps Comic.
Oh yeah, All Caps Comics. Yeah, that's creepy. I didn't know that. I don't know why he would do that, except that, you know, he's closely monitoring all references to Rippaverse and Eric July and building a case.
Well, you know, it is so bad that he's actually following people like Eric July's arm hair.
Oh yeah.
So I guess anybody that's even tangentially related to the drama, they're on it.
Yeah, it's not good because, you know, like if he's following everybody, he's seeing all of like, because there are people that are pulling up references, old tweets from 2022 where, you know, Eric July shows that he was being told and he is aware of the ISOM ministry. You know, he knew about it back then. And these are like tweets that probably like should be deleted, but maybe they're not even deleted. Maybe these are just screenshots. So this guy's watching all these people talk about all this stuff. He's probably taking notes and giving it to his lawyer.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I looked into those screenshots a little bit.
Yeah.
For the original tweets. And someone like 3 months ago had archived those tweets.
Oh, shit. So that was clearly him. You already knew about it. Yeah, there's a real sense that, like, you know, some people are being run amok here. You know, it's like Eric was like, this is obtuse gnome. Hey, what if obtuse gnome is the ISOM ministry?
They sent themselves a letter.
I want you to think about that. Make room for the possibility that this guy knows what he's doing. This is 4D chess. And Obtuse Gnome is actually that guy or his wife from ISOM. It's quite possible.
So you think Eric's just settled?
Yeah, it's too late now.
No, he said he's still open to negotiations, the guy, in his little video. Whether that's true or not, I mean, that's what he implied.
Oh, yeah, like you haven't been through one of these things. I've been through these situations before. I have a business. I've dealt with legal issues like this. And when they say settle, what he's going to do is he's going to sit there and he's going to say, yeah, I'm glad that you want to settle. His reason for wanting to settle is that he doesn't want to pay the lawyer fees. He doesn't want to go through this. He'd rather have a sure thing. And what he's basically saying is, we want a licensing fee from you, or damages. We want you to admit that you've damaged our company, and we want you to stop using ISOM. But if you're going to continue to use ISOM, you'll pay us a licensing fee. And I was watching some video about this. It popped up in my feed accidentally. I don't look for this stuff. But this guy was like, yeah, it's probably just like $10 a month. Just pay it. I'm like, you are fucking crazy. I promise you, it's going to be about $200,000 in damages, possibly $250,000 in damages at least, and probably about $15,000 a month for a licensing fee. That's probably what was put across to Eric, and that's why he balked the way that he did. And this guy's just like, we're still open to negotiations. That's what they're asking for. Listen, we don't have to go to court. You can just submit and do what we want. I mean, that's all it is. So, my thing is honestly, like, whatever they're asking for, it's less than what is going to be awarded to them via the courts. And after lawyer fees going through this for 2 or 3 years, it's going to be a drain. Like, it's going to be a real drain. The problem is that, like, I really do believe that they're going to be able to demonstrate. Not only did he, in my opinion, infringe on their trademark, this is just the way trademarks work. He did create confusion. And they do. And people are like, you can't trademark a name. No, they did. That's not even a question anymore. They did do that thing. If you look it up, they have the trademark for ISOM, and it includes comic books. They have the right to make comic books.
I've been saying that, been beating that drum for a while. No one believes me.
I know people are like, you can't do that. It's a name, and it's his grandfather's. He did do it. It's not even a matter of opinion. It's there. They own ISOM. They own the name ISOM. So what's going to happen is, you have a choice. You can either bite the bullet and pay I'm telling you, it's going to be somewhere between $200,000 and $500,000 as a settlement. That's what it's going to be, and ongoing costs, unless you choose to just stop using ISOM altogether. Stop calling it comic book ISOM. That's what they're saying. And if you don't do that, you're going to go to court, and they're going to be able to prove damages to their business. They're going to be able to say, because of all of this, because he infringed on ISOM, and everybody's talking about ISOM, and it's all over the computer, ISOM, this and that. Look at all of these disgusting things that they've connected to our business that are now searchable on the internet. He has done tremendous damage to our company. You don't understand. That's going to go into the millions. That's going to go into the millions in damages. So, I as much as it sucks, I think from Eric's standpoint, he's like, the only choice that we have is to fight and win. And it's like, I don't know, maybe, I guess.
Well, some of the theories, and again, these are just theories because I don't know. I don't have access to Eric's books. Some of the theories are that he already has the money invested in other things, the warehouse, the company, making the new books, that he couldn't even pay. Like, if he was like, oh, we'll settle for a license fee, like, he wouldn't even be able to pay right away. And that might be part of the issue. Like, it's too high because I don't have that offhand. He might not be liquid in that way. My sketchbook says they might lose it, though. The prank at ISOM Knox Tombstone is proof that it's a name. There's nobody's doubting that it's a name, my sketchbook. It doesn't matter.
It's about using the name in commerce. You have to understand what trademark law is. So the International School of Ministry has trademarked ISOM in all caps. That is their trademark. It doesn't matter that it's anywhere else, or it could have come from someone else, or someone else is using it. They are the ones who hold that trademark. And if somebody is using that trademark also in commerce and creating confusion, doing damage to their trademark's reputation, any of these things, then they can sue. So it doesn't matter. It's a name. I know it's a name. Everybody knows it's a name. Irrelevant. It doesn't matter. They could trademark Tony, and if Tony tried to put his own name into commerce, competing with their business in any way, so it's my name. Too bad. We own the trademark, and you're damaging it. I'm going to trademark your name, Tony.
Hell yeah! So I don't know if this is an Eric July thing, because he claims that his lawyers signed off on all of his statements, all the videos he made regarding this matter, right? Mm-hmm. But in the video he made, he literally lies about the lawsuit, because he says that in the original filings that they only filed for, that they told him they had the trademark for 9, which is the media CDs and stuff. But if you look at the filing, it literally has both 9 and 16 in there. Clearly, in the original filing, that's what they hold, and that's what they're getting them on. So I don't think a lawyer would tell you, go out there and lie to the people about what's going on. So that just doesn't seem.
I don't know what he meant there. Like he was saying, they're saying that even though they do hold 16 and 9, they're saying that their point of contention is 9, and basically all Eric is doing there is pointing out a clerical error within the complaint itself that can be easily remedied and fixed.
But that's irrelevant. Not what the complaint says, though, because I have the complaint. I read the filing. It clearly says the complaint is in 16. They just mentioned that they have 9, and it's kind of smushed together on the.
Oh.
So maybe Eric misread it, because it's 9 and then it goes in 16.
Yeah, it isn't. It's just not a point. That whole video is full of well, that's interesting, but that's not a point. That doesn't help you. That isn't a point. That isn't a counterpoint. Sonic the Hedgehog, not Sonic.
It's a new Chewbacca defense.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's they're both called Sonic. No, one is called Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a difference. If you called it ISOM Black Man, ISOM Black Man, then it would probably be clear.
I don't think Sonic Drive-In even has Sonic, because the original name was Sonic Drive-In. I think that's what they have trademarked.
Well, I think they have Sonic. I think they probably have the whole thing. Sonic.
I think they have a design mark for Sonic with the the logo.
Yeah, they definitely have that. But it's trouble, man. The whole thing's trouble, and if he could settle it, I would recommend that he does. But in the I think instead we're gonna kind of roll the dice here. This is what I think is happening. Whatever they ask for is too much cash. He doesn't have it on hand or whatever. So he's gonna instead fight it in the hopes that he can beat it. But if he doesn't beat it, the penalties, trademark infringement, it's so they look after you. The reason why you should trademark your shit is because the penalties for infringing on your trademark are severe. They'll choke the life out of your business. So that's why you should do it. The consequences for somebody, trying to borrow one of my trademarks or infringe on, one of my trademarks right now would be devastating. So they shouldn't do it. And that's why this is a bad thing. So I think Eric is just hoping he'll win. I hope he wins too, because
well, he's got the Alpha Core. If Alpha Core makes enough money, he could lose this and still come out ahead.
Yeah, well, if Alpha Core makes enough money, maybe he can just take some of that and just be like, no, I changed my mind. Let's settle. What do you want? You want $400,000? Here you go. Go away.
And again, like I said, in that video, I'm watching that video and I'm listening to Eric, and he goes, well, worst case scenario, we just won't make any more books, or we won't use the name anymore. And I'm like, have you read the lawsuit? Because literally they're like, we want everything all your profits from using our name, and a penalty, and lawyer fees, and this other thing. I'm like, they want it all, Eric. They probably won't get it, but in the absolute worst case scenario, they're taking everything. Right?
Yeah, he said, like, let's get over this thing about sharing it 50-50 because that's not reality. And, I was like, God damn, this guy's vicious, man. He's like,
And they want an injunction. So once it goes to court, if the court grants them an injunction, he's not going to be able to release ISOM 3, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't. Well, I mean, yeah, like if they grant it to him right away. But he's going to probably get ISOM 3 out pretty quick. I think it's almost done, he said. Pop it out there. But on the other hand, here's the thing, like you'll raise money from ISOM 3, but they'll just take it from you. There'd be more penalties if they win. So
I think it would look bad too on the court. They'd be like, you knew you were facing this lawsuit and you went ahead and released the book as ISOM 3.
Will you highlight my sketchbook 340 again? And look, this is what they're all saying. It's so weird. If Eric can prove that his family member had the name, it doesn't. Nobody's denying that his family member had that name, and it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. Names can be trademarked. Everyone keeps saying it. A name can be trademarked. It doesn't matter if someone else had the name or they've been using. McDonald's is a name. Wendy's is a name.
Yeah, if my uncle's name was Batman, you know what I mean? Like I can't make a comic book called Batman and say it's a tribute to my uncle, because it's like it doesn't matter. Like DC has the trademark on Batman. They have the copyright. They would sue me. It doesn't matter. Like it being associated with your family doesn't mean that you own it. You don't own the trademark to put that into business, into commerce. I know that's hard to understand.
And this is also stupid because the due diligence, which is spelled wrong, you spelled "do" wrong, and make sure it could be trademarked. They did. They sent it in, and the U.S. Trademark Office said, "You're all good. You can have it." And they've been having it for 25 years.
Yeah, here's the thing that you need to really internalize and understand. This is not a question anymore. ISOM Ministry owns ISOM. It's already been granted to them. It's in the books. The USPTO gave them the trademark to ISOM. They have it. There's no debating about it. There's no, well, it's a name, and he didn't know. He named it after his family, so then it doesn't count. Doesn't matter. None of that matters at all.
I think part of the issue too is they're going, oh my God, it's an acronym. They didn't trademark, and again, I've said this before, they didn't trademark I.S. They trademarked ISOM, all capital, which is exactly the same way Eric uses it. If Eric had I and then a little S, a little O, a little M, maybe he could say, well, it's a name, and there could be some, distinction between. You could clearly tell this is different from that because of the capitalization. But he literally has it all capitals, and theirs is all capitals, and that's the trademark they own. All capitals, ISOM.
Yeah.
Our Frog King is feisty. I'm not feisty. It's just like, for how many weeks, ever since this damn lawsuit came out, I've been hearing the same thing. They don't own it. And it's like, here's the damn paperwork showing that they own it. I literally argued with a guy, Ethan, and I showed him the paperwork, and he goes, well, they don't own it. I'm like, you're fucking looking at the paperwork. How are you going to tell me they don't own it?
Well, Eric put out this video that was full of like confusing shit. Like, I'm trying to tribute my family. This appeal to like emotion, and it's like, it doesn't mean anything. I think he convinced and confused a lot of people about it, but it's not going to make a difference. You just have to understand the way things work. The USPTO, they granted them the trademark, and there's nobody else that can use it for any reason. It doesn't matter if it's your own first name and you want to put it into, but you can't do it. You can't put it into commerce in a way that could create confusion with their trademark, with their mark in trade. And that's the thing. You could do ISOM pizza if you wanted to, I guess. I don't know. But if you're doing like ISOM comic book or ISOM publication, and you're doing lectures where ISOM is in he's done videos where ISOM is in the title of his video. They're like video lectures. All of these things they create confusion.
Yeah. And again, I think what you guys are not understanding, Eric July fans, when you put something through the patent office to the U.S. trademark system, they literally publish it for opposition. That's literally part of the process. They go, we're publishing this for opposition. If anybody thinks that this trademark application is infringing on their trademark or they shouldn't be able to use it, now is the time to speak up. You know, like when you're in church, they go, hey, speak now or forever hold your peace. That's what they literally do. So if Eric had an intention to use it, or he thought there was an opportunity that 25 years ago that he never took, right? Because he never intended to use it. It was never something that his family was using for any sort of materials. They're not too bright. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so like I said, there was so much misinformation in his video, and I don't think a lawyer would say that. So I don't know if he's telling the lawyers wrong information and they're just spitting back, wrong information to him.
I don't think lawyers wrote that video. I'm sorry. I just don't. It doesn't sound like something a lawyer would say. A lawyer would basically say, "Don't make a video. How about this? Don't make a video, and keep your mouth shut and let us handle this." That's what a lawyer would say. A lawyer wouldn't say, "Here's what you tell your fans on YouTube." Like there's no upside to that. You're being monitored right now. You're being closely watched by a guy who's going to utterly rape your business. That's what he's trying to do. And so everything that you say is being recorded. It's being looked at. So, don't say anything.
Yeah. And
that's all.
For the people out there that are going, well, he should just change the name right now. That does not make the problem go away. Right?
Right.
They still have to decide if he had infringed on the first two. He released 2 books.
So and all this stuff is on the internet. The damage is done. I mean, from their perspective, like, they're a big organization. They're big. They're in 150 different countries all over the world. And so people might be typing like, hey, I want to become a minister. And they type in ISOM into the Google search and they get the ISOM website. But they also get all this stuff regarding Eric July. And some of that stuff makes it look like maybe he's a minister who works for the church. And some of the stuff he's saying is a little bit, sus. And what's up with the church here? What's going on? That's confusion. And that's not going to go away anytime soon. That's on the internet. It's like permanent damage that's been done to their trademark. I believe that's how a court will see it. A judge will see it. So it is in his best interest to settle, not fight like hell. I can understand why, but like you want to settle that as quick as you can. And it's embarrassing, dude. I understand, like it's shameful, but it's going to be far worse to have. Oh my God, to go to court with this and spend the next 2-3 years stressed out, bleeding money to lawyers, and then the final judgment comes and it's going to be 7 figures. It is. That's it. That's the end.
Well, plus knowing Eric, he's still going to make more videos. More people, the longer it goes on, more people are going to make videos. So there's going to be like an ongoing, continuous brand damage that they're going to be like, look,
Well, I won't do it. I won't contribute. I'm not going to talk about it.
I'm going to put ISOM in every video I make, even if it has nothing to do with Eric.
Don't do that. Whatever you do, do not title your videos like ISOM is corrupt and then put don't do that and then have a thumbnail with whatever you do. Everybody be careful. This is somebody's business.
Whenever I'm going to just start looking up religious articles, like preacher in accident, I'll put ISOM preacher in accident ? And then Eric July in the thumbnail. So
no.
Maybe I'm going to Photoshop a little like collar on him. So
see, I know that's what the detractors are going to do, and that's what they've already done. Like many of them.
I wouldn't do that. I will say though, if at any point a video of mine is shown in court, I will be fucking over the moon. That'll be the highlight of my YouTube career.
You'll be over the moon over that. Why? It's terrible.
I mean, it's terrible, but at least oh my God, they used one of my videos as evidence. Yeah. Come on, that'd be cool.
If they call me to the witness stand, I will get up there and I will explain that I don't have an explanation. I don't know what I'll say.
Eric's a good guy.
I will say he's a good guy. Listen, sometimes his fans can get a little bit rowdy. I understand, but no infringement was intended. Not at all. I hope that you'll see fit to let this fine man go and make more comic books called ISOM.
I hope so too.
Yeah. I said his next book is going to be called The Good Shepherd. I hope that you'll let him. By the way, John Malin's idea was that the Good Shepherd should become a villain in ISOM. And I got to admit, that is a fucking cool idea. Can you imagine the villain is Good Shepherd?
I mean, that would be something. I don't know if that would help him in court when they go, hey, did you read ISOM 3 where they villainized me to all of his fans? I think that might be maybe after it's over.
Yeah.
But not during this. I would definitely put ISOM on the shelf and be like, all right, because of the ongoing court, ISOM will appear in another book, but this 3-part arc is going to unfortunately have to be put on hiatus, or just name the third one something different. Like this is the third book, but because of the court case, it's going to be called, Eric July Presents.
We're never going to know how this ends. I mean, there are a lot of people, like if this is true and they do that, we're never going to know how Ill-Advised ends, the first arc. That sucks.
That would be terrible. Maybe he'll do a video, hopefully. Eric, if you're listening, if you're watching, and it ends terribly, at the very least, you owe us to make a video and go, this is how it was going to end, guys. And here's the plot for book 3. Give me that at least.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So any suggestions on what I'm going to cut this out, Ethan. I'm going to put ISOM Destroyed by Ethan Van Sciver.
I don't do that. For God's sake.
Stabs Eric July in the back. Fans outraged. No. I was a nice conversation with EVS.
Right.
That's
defending Comicsgate from your silliness.
My silliness. Like I said, I didn't really know a lot about it. I was under the wrong impression, obviously. I hope you make all the money. In the words of Nick Rakita, I hope you make all the money, Ethan. I hope you make billions and billions of dollars.
Well, I hope that I do too. I like it. I like making lots of money on comic books. It's silly. It's fun. And we do. I mean, the comics are doing good. I'm going to buy a Rolls-Royce Phantom, 2024 model, specially built. It's going to have Cyberfrog stitched into the leather seats, or the All Caps Comics logo, the Laughing Man they're looking at. So it's really, really nice. And I owe that to all the fans. And thanks to everybody who helped me buy a Rolls-Royce Phantom.
So
awesome.
With Cyber, obviously, like you said, you never want to have anyone write or draw your books, right? But if someone came to you with an idea that said, hey, I have an idea for a comic book set in the world that you have, right? Mm-hmm. But totally divorced from, he's not going to interact with Cyber. It's going to be, Cyberfrog's in New Jersey. There's going to be like a comic set in Japan, right? But in the same universe, because I want to use the Vespas.
Right.
Would you be open to something like that?
No.
So you're not even letting anyone play in your sandbox?
No. Oh, you mean like I publish it and they're doing some gay thing that goes on in Japan? Like
I don't know if it's gay. It don't necessarily have to be gay.
Huh.
It could be about a group of survivors in Japan who are fighting off Vespas and, the community. Almost The Walking Dead, but with WAFs instead of
in Tokyo.
Zombies. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And like I said, I just said Tokyo so that you could see that it's divorced from what's going on in your books, and no one's like, oh my God, we want this to cross over. Just so it'd be like a separate thing, but within your world, right?
Yeah. In the Cyberfrog universe, Bill Clinton is still president in the United States. We actually are going to get into this stuff. I mean, Bill Clinton there was never another election. So Bill Clinton is still being protected by Secret Service in a bunker underneath the White House. Hillary Clinton was killed by the Vespas, but Monica's still alive. So
you can have like a scene where they show Bill and them going in, and he kind of like trips Hillary, so she doesn't make it bunker.
No. No. Cyberfrog is going to find the president, Salamandroid and Scorpion, have been in touch with him, the military. And Cyberfolk's going to be like, how's the first lady? And he's going to be like, she's over there, Monica. No, Hillary. And he'll, unfortunately, she didn't make it. It's such a tragedy. Such a tragedy. So we're not going to see it, but Hillary Clinton was, of course, eaten by the Vespas. That's good.
You should show it. I mean, it'd be the perfect opportunity to use. What was her slogan for the campaign?
The slogan for the campaign
for hers, for Hillary Clinton when she was running.
Oh, stronger together. Yeah.
No, I thought it was when they're like, it's her time or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I'm with her, or like maybe, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was like, it's her time. Because like they were like, oh, she's supposed to be president. So could you imagine the Vespas? Like, it's her time. You just hear like chanting, it's her time. It's her time. And they're like, it's her time to be eaten. Bam. Kill her.
Yeah. Awesome.
Queen Bee says he's Team Vespas.
Team Vespas when it comes to Hillary.
In real life, Hillary ate the Vespas in the basement. Their new queen.
Nice. Anthony says most people who talk about gay stuff nonstop are, lol. And he says that I am obsessed with gay stuff. That is pretty funny.
Extra Hero says thanks for the Riley collab video. It was brilliant. I loved that. It was funny. Yeah. I want to see the outtakes. I heard there was a lot of laughing going on.
No, I chased him with a baseball bat, and then we did a sequence where he's driving away, and he's like, "Step on the gas," and you can see me out the back, the rear view, like the window, and I'm throwing my baseball bat at him while I'm running. And it clatters in the street, and they're pulling away. It's really good. They could have stitched it together a little bit, but
so how was it? Did Riley smell like shit? Can you confirm that Riley smells like a normal human being?
Yeah, I think that's easier to do. I didn't notice any odor about him. I think it's weird that anybody would. I don't know how.
Gordo says EVS should drive that Phantom through every con.
Hell yeah.
So was it fun meeting them? Did you give them the tour?
Yeah, they're really nice. I mean, Riley is just a kid, I mean, to me, like you see him on video and he looks like a bigger guy. He looks like a big fucking orangutan. But when you meet him, he's a little orangutan and he's like smiley and he's really happy and excited to like talk about comics and stuff. And he was really a fan, he's like telling me about the X-Men and DC stuff that I did. I gave him a tour. I signed some comics. We talked about, I said, you want a Salamandroid mug? He's like, I already have one. I ordered one from the campaign. I already have it. So he already had all this stuff. I give them baseball caps, and they were really cool people. I mean, what's shocking to me about it is that, for the past like 2 weeks, people have been threatening to murder him. How somebody has the right to kill him. I mean, he's a nice kid. He's playing a practical joke. He's Alex Stein, except he's kind of being a wrestling heel. He's funny, So I'm sorry all that stuff is happening to him. People should really appreciate his sense of humor.
Yeah, I think he's a funny guy. He plays a character. I don't think a lot of people get that because he does it so well. Either that or he's crazy. I'm not sure which one.
I like him yelling and be like, I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop pulling up on you. Those videos are funny, dude. He's like, and again, it's nothing like who he really is. So you see those videos and you're just dying. And those videos are meant to unsettle Eric July, make him feel like this guy's crazy. I don't think he's crazy. I think he's just normal. He's just having fun.
So Riley did share the signature you did for him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I drew that like I was leaning on his car. He said my warehouse was nicer than Eric July's, though, too. That's the other thing he said. And he's been to both.
Oh, but he's been inside yours, to be fair.
He said the overall, like, not just inside, because I think Eric's his inside is larger, but he said the area, the neighborhood, and everything, the location is nicer. It is. It's a nice little business park that All Caps Comics is in. public. It's it's open to the public. That you can park in my parking lot if you want to. You can't go inside, but you can. It's all open to the public.
Well, I heard something after the video came out with you and Riley. I heard people were like, "Oh my God, this is going to encourage other people to show up to Ethan's warehouse. He's going to be flooded." Are you worried that people are going to just start going to the warehouse now?
No, I'm almost never there. I go there in the mornings, and really, truly, I mean, if somebody's there looking for trouble, I mean, that's one thing. Like, don't come here looking for trouble. If somebody were to show up because they're just a fan and they want an autograph on their comic book, I might be happy to meet them. I don't, if someone's there to play a joke or something, that's fine too. I don't know. Don't come here looking for violence and trouble and all that stuff, but anything else is pretty much okay with me,
Did you keep the $2 or did you give that back?
I gave it. He took it back. He had more money in his wallet, by the way. I said, no, just $2. Put $2 there, because he was going to put 50s up, and I went, no, that's not funny. It's funny if it's $2. So he found $2 and stuck that to the wall.
Extra Hero says, "What would a Cyberfrog video game be like?"
I don't know. Like what I would like it to be is like the Spider-Man video game, open world Philadelphia taken over by the Vespers, freeing humans, being able to go to New Jersey, go to the Pine Barrens, and hang out with the survivor settlement camps. I mean, that's what I would like to see. You could play as Cyberfrog or Salamandroid or Rumblebee, and it'd be cool. It'd be fun, rescuing humans. Invading hives.
Have you actively sought that, or is that just if they come to you?
Yeah, if they come to me, I mean, the game is right there. It's so obvious that it should be a video game, but I'm not in any hurry. I just got to have story to tell.
I mean, to me, it's obvious it should be a cartoon,
an anime. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I didn't do the due diligence I should have did to have all kind of questions and bombard you with page after page from Kiwi Farms about all the controversies that you've been involved in. But frankly, I don't actually give a shit about any of that. I was just more interested in what the future for Comicsgate is going to be. So where do you see Comicsgate in like 5 years?
I don't know. I see it as doing the same. I think there will be different people involved. People come and go from Comicsgate, and every time somebody leaves, everybody goes, it's the end of the world. This is the end of Comicsgate, et cetera, et cetera. More people join. When Mike S. Miller left, everybody said it's the end of the world. When War Campaign left, it's all over now. But look, we got Dale Keown, we got a bunch of other like big heavy hitters that joined us, and everybody's making comics still. My concern is always crowdfunding. I'm worried about the economy. Like I said in my last video, like people really do need to have kind of like money to be able to spend. And everybody's crowdfunders are down. Mine is, and I would say my campaign right now for Cyberfrog 3 is sitting at $545,000, which is a lot of money. It's more than Cyberfrog Blood Honey, but it's like half of Cyberfrog 2 Red Extermination or Cyberfrog 2 Wreck Planet. So I'd be concerned about it, but Eric Goliath is cut in half too. Everybody's just kind of cut in half, and seems like the economy. I hope that changes. But still.
I mean, Eric July put out 2 videos, which is the blueprint for just printing money as an indie comic creator.
Yeah, I didn't watch them, but maybe I will watch them. I don't know.
I mean, I think I don't want to drive a wedge. For some reason, people think that it's my fault, Ethan. I've been getting blamed. I've been getting a lot of shit for this. I don't know if you noticed. A lot of people have blamed me
for what?
You, because according to people, you have stabbed Eric in the back, and it's because I got in your ear somehow and convinced you to stab Eric in the back.
Well, you did. I mean, this was all your idea. You said you should stab Eric in the back. I said, well, what do I get? And you said, I'll promote you and I'll give you a lot of...
My small little YouTube channel.
Yeah. I said, okay. I mean, like, look, I don't feel like I stabbed anyone in the back. I really don't. But people are hoping. I see people hoping that there's going to be like drama. They're like, oh, I can't wait until Ethan and Eric are fighting, and it's like, man, I just want to be able to say, like, I just want to be able to say that I disagree with them about some stuff, and you can't do that without, being kind of liberated from that circle. So that's what I want to be. I want to be liberated from that circle. I don't want people to say, what do you think of this, this, and this? And me have to say, like, oh yeah. Hey Ethan, what do you think about, the idea that people aren't reading comics and, criticism is good faith, bad faith. You should accept it on that basis and all these things. And I got to be like, yeah, sure. That's right. I want to be able to disagree with people who I find to be wrong, and to be able to make my own stuff, again, free, unhindered. So I don't see it as stabbing anyone in the back. It's a shame that other people do. It's not something I want to do. I want him to succeed.
How would you feel if Eric July, he's got successful campaigns. He's obviously reaching out to people to get them in his camp to do books. If he started targeting CG guys and said, hey, I want to bring you into Rippaverse, but you can't make CG stuff no more.
I don't know. I mean, isn't he kind of doing that now? I don't care. Like, it doesn't affect me. People who, I think there's a sense also that like Comicsgate depends on having, these people, but it really just doesn't, it's me. It's anybody who wants to be Comicsgate, who's making comics. Maybe there's a sense of perception that, you've got some people who, have some people like Dan Fraga, Graham Nolan, people like Irene Strakowski. It's nice to have them on my show, but they're free to pursue other opportunities. They don't work for me. They're just Comicsgaters. Yeah, I don't really get anything from having them on my show.
All right. This was put out by your employee. People are always confused. They think this is you. I know it's not you. I've talked to this employee several times. It's definitely not you. But it says, considering you're all up in Tony's streams, it was only a matter of time before you tried to pull some BS. This isn't surprising. See, I'm getting blamed.
Yeah.
I didn't do nothing. I don't know why.
I didn't even know that was you. Like when they said Tony, I was like, who? Like Tony who? I thought they meant some of my friends from Philadelphia. the heavy cigar smoking friends from Philadelphia, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
But no, they meant you.
So is there a blacklist? I know that's what everyone wants to know about.
I don't know. I have no idea, But if there is, I guess I'm on it, and that's okay.
So then, other than this night letter, he never insinuated at any other point to not talk about somebody, not talk to somebody, or that somebody might be up or down in his good graces, as it were.
He might have done that. I can't really think of an instance of that right now. We don't talk that much,
It's always funny when situations like this occur, because you get one party that's like, we were friends, and the other party's like, well, I barely talked to you.
Yeah, internet friends, this guy's your friend. By friends, I think people just mean like allies on the internet or something. Like, I don't know him. I've never met him. Like, I would consider Cecil to be a friend because we've actually hung out in real life. Anna, we've hung out in real life. Shane Davis, I've known and hung out with in real life for years and years. Haven't met Malin yet, but he's pretty much a friend. But listen, some people are just guys on the internet, and you're friendly with on YouTube, but they're not friends. I don't know him. What am I supposed to do? I don't know this dude.
So Riley, I see he posted. He said that he believed in you before he went to the warehouse. So thought you should know that, Ethan. He's been believing in you for a long time.
That's what he said. Yeah, he's a fan. I appreciate him. I think he's a great guy. I think he's funny. But you know what? I like all these guys, and you know, it bothers people, and it just seems to bother people that, you know, it's like, well, you like Dick Masterson. It's like, yeah, he's really funny. I've been watching his show for years. Like, what do you want from me? How do you not see that he's funny?
I don't know how some of these people, especially Kiwi Farms, right? These people have done some really out there stuff. And then they look at this situation, and for whatever reason, they're like, this is totally wrong. Going to a graveyard is completely start blowing people's heads off for that. I'm like, are you guys insane?
It doesn't sound like them.
Yeah. It's like, did the SJWs infiltrate Kiwi Farms?
Well, what they'll do is I think sometimes they'll isolate a target, and if it's convenient to behave that way, to get a particular target out of the way, that'll cause the target problems, then they'll sort of pretend that, you know, it's like that's not funny to them. It wouldn't be in character for it to be funny to them. They'll fake pearl clutching over things like that. That's okay. I mean, it is what it is. Again, all these people are just trolls who are having fun on the internet. I don't care. Like, you know, let's do whatever they want. It's silly.
That's how I feel. Like I said, Riley did go to the graveyard and he caught a Pokemon that he named ISOM Nox.
Nice.
So I thought that was funny. I got nothing else.
Yeah, I appreciate talking to you. I'm getting sleepy, so I'm probably winding down. Thank you for having me on, and thanks to the chat, especially my sketchbook 340, who says, yeah, Dick can be really funny. So he likes Dick Masterson too.
I like Dick Masterson too. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for answering questions. I'm sorry if I may have offended you.
Of course. Like, stop doing gay stuff like that. Like, you know, make up your mind. Stand by it. Stand by how you actually feel. I would say this to you as a YouTuber: don't fuck around too much. Be brave enough to stand by your actual, true, sincere opinion about things. And I think you'll last longer. You know, there are a lot of people on YouTube who are kind of fake. Going by, it's fake. It's, you know, they don't really feel that way. Like, most of these guys really liked The Last Jedi, and then they decided they didn't like The Last Jedi because it was going to get them more clicks. Tony, don't be that guy about anything. Decide how you feel and stand by it. Okay. Thanks, chat. I'll see you later.